Hola chicos, this is Chuck. I wanted to talk about a subject that has come up once again, but I'm going to treat it in a slightly different fashion than before. Um, the problem with curves, okay? Show you a little drawing I made. Here's a microtrench crew out there trying to trench these arcs and these curves. Specifically going around a corner in a frickin' at an intersection. Uh, this is just nuts. What I've been told personally by guys out in the field, like you can cut around that intersection, um, and so this is kind of overlaid with a typical intersection. According to this, some neighborhood intersections have radiuses as tight. This dotted line you can just barely see here, as tight as 10 feet radius. And I've had large companies, very, very large nationwide owners of fiber optic systems, have their inspectors out there and say, Chuck, just have your crew cut around this line right here. This, I'm like, that's a 10-foot radius. Are you kidding me? Okay, so what I want to show you is the effect of that. Not only is it on super hard on microtrench blades, okay, but it causes cracks. But it widens the curve. There's no way around it. Okay, so this is kind of like the recommended minimum. Let me go. I gotta do something here. Make this work again. Okay. So this is kind of the minimum tightest curve you should ever cut, according to some Ditch Witch documents. They talking about how tight can you cut a curve with their microtrench saw. Well, I think they say 32 or 36 feet. I don't remember what it was, but this is what happens when you're cutting the recommended tightest curve ever. You see, the inside of the blade is rubbing up against the curve on the middle of the blade, but on the outer edge is cutting the outer edge of the slot. Okay, so the slot's going to get wider. So a 1-inch blade shown here is going to cut an 1.5-inch wide slot, and as you cut tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter curves, you see what happens to the slot. Okay, there's no way around it. It's simple math. It makes me think of the TV show Breaking Bad for some reason. They're making meth, and Jesse was explaining to one of his buddies about the chemistry, and they weren't getting it. And he just, in exasperation, said, "It's science, bitch." Well, okay, so this is math, bitch. So I don't know any of you want to get into formulas or anything, but I have a graphic representation of what's going on here. I was able to kind of animate this. This is showing the blade, okay? And this is showing the slot you're cutting. And this is a 16-foot radius, okay? So you see how wide the slot's getting. Well, let's go exaggerate this. Let's go a 8-foot radius and see what happens. You see how wide, this is going to be a 4 or 5-inch wide minimum ditch your saw is going to be carving out as it's going around a really super tight circle, and it's going to make cracks in your blade and do all kinds of nasty things. That guy that was an inspector, a young guy that had probably never been on any kind of telecom construction project in his life, the one that was telling me to cut an arc like this one day, I don't think he's ever put a skill saw into a sheet of plywood in his life. But I would suggest everyone needs to have the experience of putting a skill saw in a big sheet of plywood and trying to cut a curved line. Okay? So you're going to just be milling out a slot, all right? And you're going to be cracking your blade, which cracks can be fixed. Inspect your blade every day. Any crack that's longer than 1 inch, weld it up with mild steel. Very simple to do. But, man, I got a note today from a good customer saying the city's unhappy with the width of the trench when they're forcing them to cut these stupid arcs. Well, I just like to grab that streets and road department guy by the collar and say, "It's math, bitch." But anyway, this is just a graphical representation. Let's see what happens. This gets ridiculously tiny. That's a 4 foot. That's a 4 foot. This is a 44 inch, like 16 inch microtrench saw blade is what's being represented here. Okay. So yeah, you can cut an arc. Or you can mill it out, I guess. It's say a 2 foot radius. So that'd be a 4 foot diameter circle. Trying to cut a manhole circle with a microtrench saw. You see where your distance is going to be. What is that distance? Will this thing show me? Yeah, it'll show me. That's a 9.5 inch wide trench you're going to be gouging, trying to skid steer your saw around in that corner. But anyhow, I just wanted to just throw out another one of my Mr. Science videos here for you all this morning. I'm sure you're all bored and just waiting for something fun to look at. Take care.